Hey people, we are live. All right, all right, all right. All right, so excited to get back online and see you guys. Please let me know as you are signing in. Oops, let me get my thing together here. As you're signing in. All right, all right. Louise, good evening. It's a pleasure. Good evening, Louise. Good evening, Rachel. Welcome, welcome. All right, excuse me, I'm taking a sip water. All right, Sunshine from Florida. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Is guest I'm gonna mess with guest 878110 on? Shannon, how are you? Anita Pickett, it's good to see you. All right, all right. Looking forward to doing part two. I know in your notification, we're sort of going a little off schedule because the notification actually had tonight's scheduled live, but we kind of that's Rachel. You have a username now. Excellent. But what we're going to do is we're skipping that one and pushing it a little further back because this is one we really want to get to. So we're going to do part two of last week. We talk about the four guardians to the gate of your heart. All right. Okay, listen, some news, a few housekeeping tips. First of all, I hope you're telling your friends and family about the app, about our Tuesday nights, so that they can sign on. We can have some interaction. We can move forward. We're gearing up for something very special in February. I'm going to let you know that, but I need you to tell everybody to download the app, okay? Download the app. Melanie, hey, Melanie. Thank you, hon. Rachel, Shannon, Anna, Sunshine, all of you guys. Louise, let everybody know. And if you're just watching and have not sent a text, have not texted to let me know you're in, that's okay too. I know a lot of people just listen and they don't give us any input, which is fine. But we do want to know where you are and who you are. But if you are on, please download, tell your friends to download, because on this coming Valentine's Day weekend, we're having a very, very special event on the 15th of February. February 15th, that is, at 4 p.m., okay? Valentine's weekend, it's going to be absolutely awesome. It's going to be an intimate event for couples. You're going to hear more about it as we go forward. We're working on you being able to just register for it inside the app. Going to see how that works. If not, you can definitely go to the website and you will be, just keep your ears and eyes open. You'll be getting a notice very soon about that event coming on February 15th at 4 o'clock. It's an intimate event, probably one of the hottest and the best things that's going to happen on Valentine's Day weekend in Atlanta. If you're not married, Louise, it's all good. You can come. Look, you still can come. Okay, it's for couples. I'm going to be straight with you. It's for couples. But if you're a single person and, okay, great. Wendy said she just made a post on the homepage on the app. If you're a single person and you want to come and experience just the energy and learn about becoming the best person you are, look, we're not going to hold you back from that either. Okay? So it is for couples, though. I'm just letting you know that. I'm sorry. We're going to have some more single stuff also coming up. Excellent. So that's something. Now, also, if you have Android or if you have iOS, either one, please go to your app store and do an update. It's important for you to do an update. We've done some revisions because we've had some glitches. So it's important for you to go to your app store, do an update, okay? Because we have some things on here now that you have to check out. You have to click on Ask Pastor Cal. Look, it's great. My developers have taken the last 20, 25 years of information, my whole body of work, and they put it into that app, and you can actually have a conversation, an AI conversation with me. Okay, now we're working on it sounding exactly like me, but just Just be patient. But you can actually have a conversation. Press the button to talk, and once you start talking, you can actually interrupt. Well, I don't understand. What does that mean? Or else, you know what? Tell me more on this, and it'll stop, and it will respond in real time. So it's not like Siri, where you ask Siri a question and you can't say nothing else until Siri's done. So please join, get in there, and let's make this thing happen. It's an absolutely great feature that we've just included in the app, and I'm excited for you guys to experience it. Okay. All right. 5 minutes have passed. Yes, please. And Wendy is saying here, can folk please post on the app to inspire others? Just click the plus button on the homepage. Put a post out there. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you're going through. And the questions that you give us, we'll be able to even respond to those questions. Okay. So post on the app. This is something for you. Okay. And right now you're posting for free. Right now. All right. That ain't gonna be forever. Okay. Last week we talked about the 4 guardians at the gate of your heart. And the first one was sarcasm. We talked about the perils of it, where it stands in your relationship and how it stands in your relationship. We talked about mean-spirited joking, which is sarcasm's ugly, nasty cousin. Okay? And we're going to go a little bit further today with the last 2. The third one we're dealing with tonight is avoidance. Now, let me let you know something. When we talk about communication, one of the things about communication that people often forget, and listen, if you're just tuning in for the first time, you are free to ask questions, text comments. I will respond in real time. You don't get this on YouTube or anything else, okay? So please text your questions or comments, and we will address them right here in real time. Hi, Yolanda. Okay, the third one is avoidance. I'm going to tell you, when we talk about communication, one of the things we forget is that people communicate through silence also. And probably one of the most unfair communication techniques and one of the most unfair weapons that we use. And this is the third guardian at the gate of your heart that's preventing vulnerability and openness, is avoidance. Now, I write about avoidance in my book, Marriage Ain't for Punks, and I refer to it as the 500-pound gorilla, in the room that nobody talks about. Because it is. Avoidance in a marriage is often used for a number of reasons. We're going to get into a few of them. But let me tell you how avoidance shows up and what it looks like. First of all, avoidance shows up by changing the subject. If you've ever seen this happen in your marriage, I want you to give me a thumbs up, chime in, let me know. Changing the subject when difficult topics arise. Yeah. Just changing the subject. Well, okay, just change. Just talk about something else. And in a relationship, you can tell when someone's avoiding when they're changing the subject. Okay? But that's one way people avoid, changing the subject. I'm going to move a little quick here. The second one is by saying, well, we'll just talk about it later. Now, I know some of you say, well, maybe it's too tense, so we can't talk about it right then. Yes, I get that. And if things get heated and you need to take a little break, take that break, set a time when you're going to come back, and then come back at that time, because your partner needs to know that you're not avoiding them. But when you just say, well, we'll just talk about it later, and later never comes, it's a very negative way to communicate. Another is staying so busy that you don't have to engage emotionally. All right? Using kids, using work, using your hobbies as an excuse, being on the phone all the time instead of talking things out. When you know there's a problem, but what you're going to do, you're going to get on the phone, and you're going to just scrolling, sitting down beside somebody scrolling, in the bed just scrolling, not confronting nothing, but using other things to take the place of communication. That's avoidance. Here's another way that people avoid. Agreeing superficially. Just to end the conversation. Okay, all right, okay, fine. All right, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, fine. Okay, you're right. Without talking it out, without fleshing it out. That's avoidance. Okay? Remember, the goal here is resolution, not silence. That's the goal. It's resolution. And with resolution comes peace. Peace doesn't come from sweeping it under the carpet. Peace doesn't come from forced silence. Peace comes after resolution. Another way is when people shut down emotionally. They shut down emotionally when things get hard. They don't want to talk. They just don't. What's wrong? Nothing. You all right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And stop lying to each other. If you ain't all right, don't say you are. It's just so disingenuous. And this is another way that people avoid, which is, the most obvious is physical absence. When you would rather be out with friends or drive around the block or do anything or go to another room or whatever you have to do just to not be there. These are all telltale signs of a breakdown in your relationship. And I really need you to understand this, because these are not just little cute things to remember. I'm giving you signs as to when your relationship is really in trouble. Okay? And here's the truth. Very few issues in a successful relationship very few issues in a successful relationship can be handled without just involving your spouse. You almost have to involve your spouse in every issue. Very few. For a successful relationship, very few issues can be handled without involving your spouse. All right. Comment here, question. But what do you do when you realize these traits exist in your relationship and it feels awkward to even start the healing conversation? Let's go back to the title of my book, Marriage Ain't for Punks. When you realize that it's there and you feel awkward, it's okay. It's okay. Still, you must push through and have that tactful and kind conversation. You have to simply say, listen, there's some issues I think we need to talk about. I really do. I know because I know you feel them too. I know you sense them too. But we're not talking. And I think that we're avoiding some things that I believe later on are really going to come back and hurt us. And I don't want to hurt us. I don't want to hurt us. That's really important stuff. And look, the conversation will always be awkward. It will, when you're talking about vulnerable stuff, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be awkward because what avoidance does, if you don't approach these things, you will have an illusion of peace. And I want you to get this, because many couples think that avoidance is just keeping peace. They think as long as we don't talk about it, we're fine. It's like the couple who says, my parents never argued. Well, yeah, because they never talked. It doesn't mean they were ever happy or ever content or ever resolved any kind of issues. You don't want an illusion of peace in your relationship because you have not discussed things out. If you're with me and understanding me, I need to know you're there. Okay? Louise says that was a major issue in my marriage. Yes. And I believe that, Louise, because there's a major issue in a lot of people's marriages. This big 500-pound gorilla in the middle of the room, and wherever a topic comes, he just sits there and holds on to it, and nobody talks about it. He doesn't do anything but just sits there quietly, staring at both parties. And that's what the issue is. Okay? You're not talking about it. I have to tell people, now you may have heard me say this on the show quite often, to over-communicate. This is tough. But sometimes you have to over-communicate. You have to talk more than you need to. And it's painful, my God. It's painful. It really is. But on the other side of that is resolution, vulnerability, and peace. That's how you get there. The door is always difficult, but that's how you get there. Okay, here's another question from my lovely wife. Do you feel like it's easier for folk who are emotionally mature to push through? What about if you're not there in your mind and neither is your partner? Look, I don't care if you're emotionally mature or not. It's always tough. Look, Wendy and I, we've been married for 17 years, and it's still tough. And I believe we're both emotionally mature, but it's tough. It's simply tough. And to say that you're not there in your mind and neither is your partner, Well, first of all, if neither of you are emotionally mature, I know it's after the fact, but you probably should have never gotten married. Okay? You never should have. Because marriage is not for emotionally immature people. It's not. There's too much to do. There are too many issues to handle. There's too much gravitas that you have to have there. Okay? It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of seriousness in marriage. Now, there's a credible amount of fun. Now, right now, Wendy's the only one commenting, so you guys help me out here. Pride don't care about peace, though, right? No, pride don't care about. You're absolutely right, and that's a, honey. I'm so glad you said that because that's so serious. And we're not talking about pride this evening, even though that's one of that's sort of a corollary to almost everything we're talking about. As we go into the last one after this comment, which I'll talk about pride a little bit, but this thing of pride, there's a Bible verse which says, "Pride goeth before destruction, and a puffed up or a haughty spirit goes before a fall." If you look at any kind of destructive situation, if you look at any time there's a country or a company or a marriage or a relationship or a business or anything that fails, at the core of that, it's somebody who was not listening, too pig-headed, too bone-headed, or just refused to listen to good counsel, and so it failed. Because pride is always the precursor to destruction. Okay? All right. Talamisha, I'm so glad the app is working too also. Mind you, that's happening because I told you guys to update. So we got an update. Talamisha very, very smartly told us what the issues were last week, and we corrected it, so thank you. Yeah, okay, let's continue. So Rosie says, "You just said that we should over-communicate, but I could have sworn I heard you also say you should not tell your partner everything. Where's the line?" Okay, yeah. Now, mind you, when I say you shouldn't tell your partner everything, this is what we're saying here. And I thank you for catching me. You're a sharp one. Let me tell you what we're saying here. Everything that comes out of your mouth should be filtered through facts. When I say don't tell I'm saying, look, every errant thought that goes through your head, which may not be ready for everybody to hear, doesn't need to be said unless you filter it through facts. Because sometimes you may have an emotion and you just blurting out everything. No, that's not over communication. That's abusive communication. Over communicating means having an intelligent thought, thinking it through, but simply disseminating or disseminating that information and talking more than you need to get to the point. Not saying everything that's every old crazy thought that pops up in your head. I hope that makes sense. And there is the line. Therein lies the line, okay? But thank you for it. I hope I'm answering what you're asking because I hate to brush people off, Rosie. But that's what it is. When I say don't say everything is on your mind, I mean filter it. Because mature people and keeping it 100 and all that stuff, keeping it a buck, all that. No, you don't have to say everything you feel. Say what you know. And if you feel something, run it through the sieve or through the filter of knowledge, through the filter of facts, and then speak it. Okay? You can do that as much as you want. But just speaking from the gut and just no, you'll destroy your relationship. Okay. What about picking your battles so it doesn't feel like complaining that? Yes, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Picking your battles. Because I will guarantee you that once you start running everything through your mind, okay, fine, does this make sense to say right now? Is this a feeling or is this fact? Is this something that needs to be said right now or should I wait to say it later? Or maybe there's something else I should say instead of it. Okay? When you actually do that and you're not impulsive, look, people don't mind having intelligent conversation. People mind when you're just cherry picking and throwing crap at them just for the heck of it. So pride doesn't really care about anything solution oriented. It's selfish. Absolutely. Okay. Maps user, MAFP user. It's another person without a name. Okay. MAFP user. I'm a talker. Kevin's a listener. Oh, that's Patty. Okay. But we've managed to have breakthrough conversations. He says it's because he is in love with me and loves our relationship. So he's willing to talk. Look, and he's willing to talk. Yes. That's it. That's it right there. But here's the thing, Kevin and Patty, y'all been married for 100 years. You guys, and I know you all personally, you guys you figured out the dance. You figured out the marriage dance, okay? It's not a rule for everybody, but you got to figure out your dance. And your dance, Kevin and Patty, is going to be different than me and Wendy. It's going to be different than Melanie. It's going to be different than Rosie or Talamisha or Louise or whomever. All these dances are going to be different, but you got to figure out what's good with your partner. If your partner does not mind you just word vomit, and they sincerely don't mind that, okay, fine. I don't know many people who want to hear that, though. All right? Over communication is good. Being overly mean is not. Saying everything that's on your mind is not over communicating. It's being reckless. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So there's a number of reasons. Oh God, there's so much time. No, but I'm going to get through these last two. There's so many reasons why we use avoidance. One is that it's a fear of conflict, and we talked about that, fear of rejection. We avoid because we don't want to be hurt. We avoid because we have a fear of being wrong, which brings in that whole pride thing. We avoid because we have a fear of vulnerability, or we have this false strength, and that is the segue into our next thing. Because first of all, though, get rid of avoidance. Acknowledge the gorilla's presence. Okay? If something is not being talked about, acknowledge that the thing is not being talked about. Identify what that thing is. And the two of you make a decision to get rid of the gorilla because the both of you created it. Okay? All right. I got to go on. Listen, we're going to do more of this on YouTube. We're going to do some more on once we start our podcast. So we'll get some other stuff. Okay? But I can't give you everything right now. Let's do this last one. The fourth guardian at the gate of your heart is being the strong one. And I want to spend more time on this. I'm going to spend the last 10 minutes on it. Being the strong one. Listen, this is the most dangerous weapon of all. This is the most dangerous weapon of all. Being the strong one. This is the big one. Okay. This is the weapon that looks like virtue. All right. It looks like virtue, but it functions like a barrier. It looks like you're the strong one. You're the big one. You're the one who's always has it together. You're the one who never breaks down. You're the one who carries all the emotional weight. You're the one who handles everything while everybody else is falling apart. You're the one who doesn't need any help. You're the one who doesn't show weakness. That crap is exhausting. And it's not good. It's not virtuous. It's a barrier. And let me tell you something. It's killing your intimacy. Being the strong one all the time is killing your intimacy. And why is this one of the guardians at the gate? Why is this one of the ones that's stopping vulnerability, that's stopping intimacy? It's that because when strength becomes your identity, hear me out. When strength becomes your identity, when it becomes the mask that you never takes off, it stops being a virtue and it starts being a prison. When strength is your identity, when you're the strong one and that's how you're known, that becomes your prison. And it creates this false hierarchy where you're always the capable one. You're always you're the one who's doing everything. And when you're always the strong one, you're sending a message to your partner. Get this. You're sending a message to your partner. I'm the capable one. You're the weak one. I don't need you, but you need me. I need you to get that. When you always present yourself as the strong one, you're saying, I'm the capable one. You're the weak one. I don't need you. I want you, but I don't need you. I hate that. But you need me. Now, some of you might be saying at this point, but what if I'm with somebody who don't do nothing? What if I'm with somebody who ain't strong? Let me share this with you. I'll tell you this very quick story, and I've shared it numerous times about a friend of mine that I knew who was in a marriage where his wife was the strong one. She acted like the strong one, and she let him know she was the strong one, and she beat him down. She made sure that she overtalked him, that she told him how bad she was, that she told him how bad he was, how bad she was, and how bad he was. And she told him all these negative things. And I sat down and counseled them. And he was a broken man. I'm here to tell you, he was a broken man. And I talked to them and I heard her. And I said, I need to talk to her individually. And I told her, listen, he cannot be a man because there's already one in the relationship, and that's you. And then I talked to him individually and I said, what is your problem? He said, maybe she's right. And I just saw a broken man. Well, she divorced him. And after she divorced him, he was broken for a while. And then he came back later and he married someone else. Someone who was incredibly supportive, incredibly loving, incredibly just uplifting to him. Just spoke so much life and so much love into him. That joker went back to school, finished his degree, successfully working. She quit her job. She raised the kids. And here come the ex-wife. How come he didn't do that with me? He couldn't because he couldn't be him because you were him. I see you, Stephanie. Glad you're seeing that. Being the capable one, being the strong one is not necessary. It's not. And it does nothing for your relationship. When you refuse to ever break, to ever be vulnerable, to ever show your weakness, you rob your spouse of the opportunity to be strong for you. Yes. And if she could have stepped back and let him, even though he fails sometimes, and this works both ways, so it's not a gender thing. Even though she fails sometimes, if you could step back and let them fail and be strong, oh my God, you would see so much power in your relationship. Men don't want women with masculine energy. They handle it in different ways. Oh my God. Wendy, you can say nothing but a mouthful. You can say nothing but a mouthful. Yeah. And it is a different perspective. And I'm glad you see that, Stephanie. But men don't. Here's the thing. And I tell people this. When you come to a man with masculine energy, women, when you come to a man with masculine energy, it confuses him. Because we know how to handle other men. If a guy comes to me and he's over alpha and he's brushing up against me and everything, and I do this illustration quite often when I do public speeches, and if a man walks up to me and he's doing this, and I know how to respond to him. You coming at me? Oh, we're going to handle business. Right? But when a woman comes to me, it creates cognitive dissonance. Well, she looks like a woman, she smells like a woman, she acts like her, she talks like, but she acting like a man. Do I kiss her? Do I hug her? Do I hit her? What do I do? So it's confusing, okay? There's nothing wrong with being powerfully feminine. And men, there's nothing wrong with you also not always being the strong one. God knows in my relationship, my wife is not, I'm not always the strong one. Sometimes she is. And it's okay. Okay? But we understand that. My husband told me he needs feminine energy from me, and I've been working hard at being strong and feminine at the same time. Okay, that's my wife. Yes, she's letting you in on our conversations, which is fine. It's fine, because that's about being vulnerable. Yeah. And most people who are always a strong one, they're actually terrified of being weak. Okay. And in my experience as a counselor, it seems men have a more difficult time being open and vulnerable and naked than women because of their perception that it takes away from their masculinity if they show their emotions. But what I found in talking with men, when just the men get together and talk, men can be incredibly emotional and incredibly vulnerable when they feel that it's safe to do so. They can. And what they want from their women is an environment where they can feel safe to do so and not be criticized for not always being strong. And women want that same thing. They want an environment where they can sometimes not be strong and it's okay because they know you got it. Men, they know you have it. They know you're going to get their back, so they don't have to be strong. Okay? So it's important. Being the strong one like that, as we said earlier, it teaches your spouse that they're not needed. Now I'm going to answer this by Stephanie. How can men start to do this in simple ways? Any topics that are easier to start with? Now I want you to explain that, your question, a little bit more. How can men start to do this? Start to be vulnerable, or start to have the conversation in simple ways? Are there topics that are easy? As far as a man addressing her, I just need you to just expand that a little bit more so I know exactly how to answer what you're asking. And while you're doing that, how can men, to be more vulnerable? How do men start to become more vulnerable? Men will become vulnerable, and please let me know if I'm answering what you're asking. Men will become vulnerable when they feel as though their masculinity is not questioned by their sensitivity, by them being sensitive. When they feel as though their wife can be a safe space and it won't be brought up again in later conversations. I'm here to tell you, and I talk to men all the time. When a man feels as though he's been disrespected or that he's let his guards down, and all of a sudden that thing that he opened up to you about is now being used against him, he will not say another word, but he will start building silent walls. You will not know the walls are being built. I'm here to tell you, you will not know the walls are being built. And when I talk to men, this is what I get. But they will build walls. And now they'll exist in that situation, but the walls are there. And you wonder, well, how come you're not open with me anymore? No, because I don't trust you emotionally. I'm just telling you. What are things that men can do to support his partner, wife, in being more feminine and vulnerable? What are things that men can do to support his partner, wife, in being more vulnerable? Making sure that he is a safe place for her to land. Making sure, and I hope I answered your question, Stephanie, as far as how do men start in simple ways. Are there any topics that men can talk about in being vulnerable? I think that you have to introduce it. I'm sorry, Winnie, I'm going back to Stephanie real quick. I think you have to introduce that, Stephanie. You have to let him know. Okay, listen, I'm vowing to you. I'm covenanting to you. I'm going to be your safe space. And in my book, I talk about naked moments. Okay, and you can get it and read up on that. Marriage Ain't for Punks, the book. But you can introduce that and allow him to be vulnerable by letting him know it's okay. And I'm going to be your safe space because I'm here to tell you. We don't have a whole lot of them. And if your woman is not your safe space, you might try to find some other safe spaces. Not an excuse, but I'm just talking about humanity. Okay. Winnie, what are things that men can do to help his partner or wife in being more feminine and vulnerable? He needs to let you know that you can be, that you are his, he needs to let you know that he is your safe place to land. Okay. And it takes a lot because I tell men quite often, listen, if you want your wife to be vulnerable, there's one thing you got to do. First of all, shut up. Just shut up. Shut up and listen. And I mean be locked in. And I got to work on this. I used to get criticism and all the time on the show because of my facial expressions. Sometimes I have to work on that in my home. But you have to watch your facial expressions. You have to make sure that you're locked in and you're just literally listening. Okay, sweetheart, tell me what's happening. Tell me how you're feeling. Okay, and then just listen. Just stay locked in and listen. Okay? And I think that's the first place that a guy has to start in creating an environment for his wife to be vulnerable. Okay? And then you must be ever so careful to make sure that whatever is shared with you, that it's cherished. That thing is cherished and it's never, ever used against her. Okay? All right. Now I wanted to talk about this a little bit real quick, and then we're going to have to close this out. And next week we'll have, but if at another time we'll come back to it. Okay. Men need to shut up on their own, though. We women can't tell them to shut up. No, right, exactly. Please don't tell them to shut up. Don't tell each other to shut up. You're absolutely right. I can tell a man, look, dude, stop talking. Be quiet. Okay. Yes, Louise, we're at the studio today. We're preparing stuff. YouTube channel will start very soon. Okay. So I will let you know. But in the meantime, we're going to be doing this. Okay. Here's the most important thing that people don't realize, that when you refuse to be vulnerable, you refuse to take off the armor, you refuse to stop being the guardian at the gate of vulnerability, you're sending the message to your spouse that you don't need them. And eventually, they'll believe you. I'm here to tell you. Eventually, they'll believe you. They'll stop trying to help because you've made it clear you don't need any help. They'll stop trying to add comments and to be your person because you've made it clear you don't need them. Do not convince your spouse that you're okay without them by trying to be strong all the time. Don't do that. There's a biblical ideology that the man and the wife, when they come together, that they're one flesh, which means that they have not lost their identity, but they've lost their independence. They've lost their singleness. They're now one unit moving together. Okay? And when you're one unit moving together, if one hurts, the other hurts. If one is in pain, the other is in pain. This is how this thing is supposed to work. Okay? So do not ever tell your partner that you don't need them or give them an impression that you don't. Okay? Because eventually they will believe it. Okay? We gotta go. Thank you guys so much. It's always fun, always enlightening. And I hope you're getting something out of this. If you are, please, you're in the app already. Go to the homepage, put comments down on the homepage. In fact, you can go into the archives and find some of our previous lives, Tuesday lives. And you can even, take those and upload them or whatever you can do. But please go ahead and let us know that you're enjoying this. And next Tuesday live at 7 p.m., bring somebody with you, okay? We want to build this thing. Let's get this movement going, all right? God bless you guys. Love you all like play cousins, and we'll see you next week.